إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد إخوتي وأخواتي في الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, this is going to be the continuation of the explanation of the book Manhaj-As-Saalikeen by Shaykh Abdulghani ibn Nasir Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, still on Al-Bu'yu, the commercial transactions. The Shaykh says Bab al-Rahn wal-Daman wal-Kafala, the chapter of Al-Rahn. Al-Rahn, that is mortgage. Wal-Daman and Al-Daman, that is guarantee. Wal-Kafala and Al-Kafala, that is surety. وهذه وثائق بالحقوق الثابتة. So these things mentioned, Ar-Rahn, Al-Daman, Al-Kafala, they are وثائق بالحقوق الثابتة. So they are ways of documenting, so to say, or way of a kind of polarizing al-huquq al-thabita, that is established rights. Somebody has a right with you, that is, you are supposed to be charged something. Maybe you are indebted to a person, you are owing somebody, so meaning he has a right with you, so you have a debt on you to be paid to that person. So this is haqqun thabit, an established right that the person has with you. So for you to pay and not to run away and things like that, so there is a way you have to provide some security for this thing, so that whenever one defaults or one tries to evade paying what is due on one, the lender or the seller, so to say, can easily fall back on the item with which you have stood as, with which you have, or the item that you have used as a collateral, or can fall back to the person that is standing for you, that is, the person will be the one to pay it, or if it's something that has to do with bringing the personality or the person involved. So you go back to the person who has stood for that person in order to provide the person involved. So and that's why these three things, that is Ar-Rahn, Wal-Daman, Wal-Kafala, the scholars, they consider them as Uqudu at-Tawthiq, Uqudu at-Tawthiq, that is documentation contracts or subsidiary contracts, contracts that are secondary. They are not the main contract, but they are entered into in order to protect the main contract. In order to protect the main contract. Meaning somebody is indebted to you now, and you want him to provide a collateral. This collateral is called Ar-Rahn. You want him to provide a collateral. So that's another contract. The first contract, which is the main contract, is that there is a kind of loan between both of you, or there is a kind of sale of an item between both of you. So he is owing you. So you now strike another contract with him that has to do with what? That has to do with protecting and securing your what? Your debt for the person. So this is a secondary contract now. It's called a subsidiary contract. The first one is the main contract. So mortgage or mortgaging, so to say, is one of the uqud of at-tawthiq. It's one of the uqud at-tawthiq. It's one of the subsidiary contracts. One of the subsidiary contracts. The same thing can be said of ad-daman. Ad-daman, this is guarantee. This is guarantee. What does this stand for? It is when somebody is owing you, rather than the person bringing something as a collateral to stand, it is a person that will stand in place of that person, that if it defaults, I'll be the one to pay. So this is what? Daman. So then there is what? Al-Kafala. Al-Kafala, so that is surety. So meaning somebody that will provide the person. That will provide the person. Like they provide in the court. Say, okay, somebody will be released on bail, and the person will have to provide a surety. So that is a kafil. So kafala. Then there is what is called al-hawala as well. Al-hawala, this is transfer of a debt to another person. You are owing somebody, then the person you are owing, you yourself, you are being owed by another person. You now refer, or you transfer that debt that you are owing that person, you transfer it to the person that is indebted to you in order to pay that person. Oh, this is clear. So, Ar-Rahnu, Ad-Daman, Al-Kafala, these are what, as we said, they are subsidiary contracts. They are not the main contracts. So they are embarked on in order to secure one's property, that is from the one who is owing one. So the Shaykh says, وَهَذِهِ وَثَائِقُ بِالْحُقُوقِ الثَّابِتَةِ. Wathaiq is the plural of the word wathiqa. Wathiqa is like what? A document. It's like what? A document. وَهَذِهِ وَثَائِقُ, these are documents بِالْحُقُوقِ الثَّابِتَةِ, of established rights. So you enter into this, you document it. فَالرَّهْنُ, it says, it starts with rahn, which we call what? Mortgage. We translate it as mortgage or pledge. يصح بكل عين يصح بيعها. it is permissible and it is valid to embark on it using any item that is valid to be sold. You know, it's not everything you can sell in Islam. You cannot sell pork. You can't sell intoxicant. You cannot sell what does not belong to you. So there are a lot of things that you cannot sell that Islam forbids. Either they are muharramun, they are muharramatun lidhatiha, or muharramatun lighayriha. Either they are what? Haram in and of themselves, or they are haram for one reason or the other. So what the author is trying to tell us here is that كل ما يصح بيعه يصح رهنه. كل ما يصح بيعه يصح رهنه. This is a garbage, the principle. Anything that you can sell, anything you can sell, then you can use it as a collateral. Anything you can sell, you can use it as a collateral. So you borrow money from somebody and the person says he needs a collateral. Meaning what? You are entering into a subsidiary contract with that person. So what do you want to use as a collateral? Maybe your house, your animal, your farm and things like that. So anything that you can sell, you can use as a collateral. So what you cannot sell, you cannot use as a collateral. You cannot use as what? Rahnu. Before something can be used as rahnu, as a collateral or as a mortgage, that thing must be something that is permissible to be sold. It's permissible to be sold. If it is not permissible to be sold, then it is not permissible to use it as rahan. Why? This is because if the murtahin, we have the rahin and we have the murtahin. The rahin is the mortgagor, the one who is putting down the collateral. He wants to borrow money from you and you ask for collateral. He buys an item from you, you ask for collateral. So if he gives you the collateral, he is the mortgagor. The collateral that he has given to you is called mortgage. He is the mortgagor. Then you are the mortgagee. So which the fuqaha or the Arabs who call what murtahinu. Al-murtahinu huwa alladhi akhadha ar-rahn, is the one who takes the rahn, the mortgage or the collateral. Ar-rahin is the one who puts down the collateral. The one who puts down is collateral. That is ar-rahin. So we have mortgage, the item that is being mortgaged. We have the mortgagor, the one who's putting down that item. We have the mortgagee, the one who is what? Taking the item. So the mortgagee may be a seller and may be a lender. Maybe somebody who has sold an item to you, but he needs something as what? As a collateral. Maybe somebody who has lent you money, he needs something as a collateral. So he is the mortgagee, murtahin. You are the rahin, the mortgagor. I hope this is clear. So the Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, says, فَالرَّهْنُ يَصِحُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ أو بكل عين يصح بيعها. You can mortgage anything that is sellable. Anything that is sellable, you can watch. You can use it as a mortgage, as a collateral. So the mortgagee, if he takes that collateral from you, if you default, the time that both of you have agreed upon that you are going to pay the money, you are unable to pay the money, if your agreement is that what maybe if you're unable to pay, you should sell the item. So he will sell the item and take the money that you are owing him. Even if you have not agreed and you are not forthcoming in paying your debt, he has the right to sell the item and take what is due. All this is clear. So he has the right to do that if one is not forthcoming. Yes, Islam encourages us that the one who owes us, we should give him respite. وَإِنْ كَانَ ذُو عُسْرَةٍ فَنَظْرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. If there is somebody who is in difficulty, give him respite. Give him respite till he is in what? In state of ease. How this is clear. But if you are in need of your money, it is not binding on you to what? To wait. If that person has given you a collateral, then you have the right to sell the collateral if it's not forthcoming. And if both of you have agreed that if I default at the time that both of us have agreed, then you can sell the item. So if it's an item that is not sellable, what are you going to do? Huh? So and that's why they say what? كل ما يصح بيعه يصح رهنه. Anything that you can sell is what you can use as what? As collateral. If that thing is not sellable, it's not something that you can use as rahnu. Because the purpose of using it as rahnu is that when the rahin, the mortgagor, when it defaults, the mortgagee can watch, go back to that thing and sell it in order to get his own money. He said, فَتَبْقَى أَمَانَةً عِنْدَ الْمُرْتَهِنِ فَتَبْقَى أَمَانَةً عِنْدَ الْمُرْتَهِنِ. We have said the murtahin is the mortgagee. So the rahnu or the ayn, that is the item, the ayn, here, which is the rahn, the mortgage or the collateral, remains an amana, a trust with the mortgagee. That is, the mortgagee does not have the right to make use of it until the time that what both of them have agreed on, and the person is not forthcoming, and he can no longer bear it. In that case, we said what? He can sell it. But before that time, he does not have the right to make use of it. That is the basis. He doesn't have the right to make use of it because it's an amana. وَيَدُ الْمُرْتَهِنِ يَدُ أَمَانَةٍ. Yadul murtahini yadu amanatin. The murtahin, the mortgagee, is what? Is not held responsible. The mortgagee is not held responsible. What does this mean? Meaning, if anything happens to that item, that collateral, the mortgagee is not going to be what? It's not going to be liable unless if you have clear evidence that he has been what? Negligent, or he has infringed on what? On it. At-ta'addi wa at-tafrit. If you can establish a ta'addi, that is, there is a kind of infringement, or there is at-tafrit, there is what? Negligence. Then in this case, the murtahin, the mortgagee will be what? Will be responsible. But without this, yadul murtahin yadu amana. Yadul murtahini yadu amana. It's just like what? Al-muda'u. Yadul muda'i yadu amana. Who is al-muda'? Do you know al-muda'? From awda'a yudi'u. This is when you keep a trust with somebody. The trustee is yadu amana, meaning he is not liable. Unless if you can prove that he is negligent or he has transgressed. If you can prove that, if somebody keeps a trust with somebody, with another person that he should keep on his behalf, and that trust gets lost, for instance, or gets stolen, he is not going to be liable. It's not going to be liable because it's yadu amana. Unless if you can prove transgression or you can prove negligence. And that is why it is said that the money that you give to the bank, yadul masrif laysat yada amana. The bank is not what? The bank is liable. The bank is liable. Its yadu is not yadu amana. Why? Because al-banku aw al-masrif muqtaridun. The bank is a borrower. The bank is what? A borrower. The money you give to the bank is not a trust. The money you give to the bank is a loan to the bank, and that's why immediately you put the money in the bank makes use of the money. So why to be a trust? It does not have the right to make use of it. The fact that it doesn't have the right to make use of it, that is why it is said in the Sharia, if something happens to him without negligence or transgression, is yadu amana. It's not liable. Because ordinarily it's prevented from using it. But if he uses it, for instance, and the money gets destroyed or gets stolen, so he has transgressed. Because he's not supposed to use the money. I hope it is clear. So al-muda'u, the one that you give money, you keep a trust with, is yadu amana. Meaning what? He doesn't have the right to make use of it. So once he makes use of it, he has transgressed. So if anything happens to it, he's what? He's liable. Hope it is clear. So when you say you keep money, you give money to the bank makes use of it. So and that's why the scholars they say, at-takyiful fiqhi, the differential categorization of what the bank does is what? Is al-iqtirad, is loan. The bank is borrowing money. You are not keeping your money in the bank. You are loaning the bank. And that's why it is said that what if the bank adds interest, usury, so your money shouldn't take it. Because this is a borrower giving the lender money. Given what? The lender additional thing to what he has loaned him. Is it clear? So and that's why it is haram for you to take it. You are the lender, the bank is the borrower. So when you say you keep your money in the bank, you are not keeping your money in the bank, you are loaning the bank. And that's why the bank is making use of it. So why it to be that you are keeping your money in the bank does not have the right to make use of it. Since you know that the bank is making use of your money and you keep quiet, that means it's a loan, not a trust anymore. It's a loan. I hope this is clear. So, yadul muda'i, yadu amana. The muda', the one entrusted with a trust, is not liable. The one entrusted with a trust is not liable. Illa idha ta'adda aw farrata. Unless if it transgresses or is negligent. Unless if it transgresses or is negligent. I hope this is clear. So the same thing we can say of al-murtahinu. Yadul murtahini, yadu amana. The one the mortgagee, the one that you give a collateral Maybe you borrow money from him, or you buy something from him and he says what? You should bring a collateral. Isyadu, amana. So if anything happens to the collateral that you have given to him, you say what? Qadarullah wa ma sha'a fa'al. If you don't want to take Qadarullah wa ma sha'a fa'al, you have to bring evidence that he has transgressed. Maybe he has used the item. He has used what? The item. Or he has been negligent. Maybe he has kept the item in a place that is not safe. All this is clear. But apart from this, is yadu amana. The yadu is yadu amana. So the Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala says, la yadmanuha. He will not guarantee it. Illa in ta'adda aw farrata. Unless if it transgresses or is negligent, kasa'iril amanat, as the case with the rest of trust, as the case with other trust. I mentioned ida, that is, you keep a trust with somebody. There is a difference between ida, for you to keep a trust with somebody, and what? Arran. Arran, you are owing the person. In the case of al-ida, you are not owing. You just want the person to what? To keep it for you. In the case of arran, you are owing the person, either as a result of what you have bought from him, or as a result of the loan that you have gotten from him. So you are indebted to that person, arran. So yadul murtahim is what? Is yadu amana. فإن أصل الوفاء تام انفك الرهن. فإن أصل الوفاء التام انفك الرهن. If you have fully paid what is due on you, انفك الرهن. That is, the rahnu is what has become terminated. That he has to return the rahnu. He has to return the rahnu. وَإِنْ لَمْ يَحْصُلْ, if this doesn't happen, وَطَلَبَ صَاحِبُ الْحَقِّ بَيْعَ الرَّهْنِ, the one that has a right, we say somebody's right is established on you. So the one that has the right now requests that the rahn be sold, that the mortgage, the collateral be sold. وَجَبَ بِلْعُهُ, it is compulsory to sell it. Because you have to give him his right. You have to give him his right. وَالْوَفَاءُ مِنْ ثَمَنِ, then you have to pay him from the what? From the price. وَمَا بَكِيَ مِنَ الثَّمَنِ بَعْدَ وَفَاءِ الْحَقِّ فَلِرَبِّهِ. So whatever is left after the payment of the due, then it goes to the owner. It goes to the owner. How this is clear. وَإِنْ بَقِيَ مِنَ الدَّيْنِ شَيْءٌ يَبْقَ دَيْنًا مُرْسَلًا بِلَا رَهْنِ. So if there is something left of the dayn, the debt, يَبْقَ دَيْنًا مُرْسَلًا بِلَا رَهْنِ. So it becomes what? Dayn, debt without rahn. Maybe the rahnu is not sufficient. وَإِنْ أَتْلَفَ الرَّهْنَ أَحَدٌ فَعَلَيْهِ ضَمَانُهُ. If somebody destroys a collateral, فَعَلَيْهِ ضَمَانُهُ, he has to watch, he has to guarantee it. يَكُونُ رَهْنًا, so it will be rahn. وَنَمَاؤُهُ تَبَعٌ لَهُ. If الرهن, the collateral, if there is increase, or if it yields something, so the proceeds of the rahnu is part and parcel of the rahn. This will be clear, inshallah. He said, وَمُؤْنَتَهُ ala rabbihi, and the maintenance, taking care of the rahnu is upon the owner. Taking care of the rahnu is upon the owner. Do you understand this? The maintenance of the rahnu, of the collateral, is upon the owner, not upon the murtahin. Who can tell us the reason why it's not upon the murtahin? Now if it is upon the murtahin, upon the mortgagee, to maintain the collateral, so that means he is also incurring additional cost, so which will not be just. This will be injustice. So the one who is supposed to maintain the rahnu is the owner of the rahnu, because what he's supposed to do is to pay the debt on him. But because he's unable to pay the debt, immediately the person says he should bring something as a collateral, and he tries to what? To use something that ought to be maintained as a collateral, meaning he will be the one to maintain the item, the animal. If it's an animal, he will be the one to maintain, feed the animal and things like that, not the murtahin. Not the murtahin. Now there is something here that I want us to mention. Why can't we impose the maintenance of the rahnu on the murtahin, on the mortgagee? We said it is injustice. But I want us to bring out something there. Barakallahu. Because if we are prevented him from making use of that thing, so if he cannot make use of it, why do you want to tell him to what? To maintain. He can't make use of it, and we are asking him to maintain it. So that is where the issue of injustice comes in. So that would be injustice. Huh? So al-gorum, al-gorum bil-gorum. You want to make profit, you should be ready for what? If there is loss, you also share in it. That's Islam. You want to make profit. So if there is loss, you should be ready as well. So that what? If there is profit, you also benefit from the profit. But you want to benefit from the profit, you don't want to share from the loss. This is riba. Or gambling. So you should be ready for loss just as you are ready for profit. So that's why when some people tell you that if you should come and invest, if you invest, there is what? Your money is guaranteed. Your money is guaranteed. If they tell you your money is guaranteed, that is what? Is gambling. The money should not be guaranteed. Then if they say there is what? Profit is also guaranteed. Know that what? That's riba. Profit should not be guaranteed in a business. Once profit is guaranteed in a business, it's like what? You are loaning somebody with interest. And if somebody says what? Your capital is guaranteed, no, your capital should not be guaranteed. Because business is what? Is risk. So, the Shaykh says, وَلَيْسَ لِلرَّاهِنْ الْإِنْتِفَاعُ بِهِ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ الْآخَرِ. It is not permissible for the rahin, for the mortgagor, to benefit from it, from that thing, since he has what? He has mortgaged it. It's not permissible for him to benefit from it illa bi-idhni al-akhar, except with the permission of the mortgagee. Because if he benefits from it, it may reduce the value of that thing. And with that, he is losing. The mortgagee is losing. So if he is going to benefit from it, the mortgagor is going to benefit from it, he should be with the permission of the mortgagee. Aw bi idni shari, or with the permission of the shari, with the permission of the lawgiver. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the tongue of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, fi qawlihi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the statement of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, "Al-dhahru yurkabu binafaqatihi." Al-dhahru yurkabu binafaqatihi. That is, the animal can be ridden on. You can ride on the animal. Binafaqatihi. If you are going to maintain it. Binafaqatihi. We said what? Al-gunum bil-gurum. You want to make profit, you should be ready for loss. So you want to make use of the animal. You want to ride it. Then you should also be ready to feed the animal. إذا كان مرهونا, if it is mortgaged. وَلَبَنُ دَرِّ يُشْرَبُ بِنَفَقَتِ. The milk can also be taken. You can milk the animal بِنَفَقَتِ, by also what? Maintaining it. You feed the animal. إذا كان مرهونا, if it is mortgaged. وَعَلَى الَّذِي يَرْكَبُ وَيَشْرَبُ النَّفَقَةِ. The one who is riding or drinking the milk will be the one to watch, to be responsible for taking care of the animal. Rawal Bukhari recorded this, and some others. How this is clear. So some scholars are of the opinion that the mortgagee cannot make use of it at all. Now the basis is that mortgagee should not make use of it at all. But take for instance this animal of a thing, if it is not made use of, the animal is going to, if the animal is not fed, the animal is what? Is going to die. So you have to feed the animal. So who is going to feed the animal? If the mortgagor is ready to feed the animal, no harm. That is the basis. But if the mortgagor wants the mortgagee to feed the animal, that means he should also allow him to watch. So, I hope it is clear. He should allow him to make use of it. And that's why the Shari says what? بِنَفَقَتِهِ الذَّارُ يُرْكَبْ بِنَفَقَاتِ إِذَا كَانَ مَرْهُونًا وَلَبَنُ ذَرِّ يُشْرَبْ بِنَفَقَاتِ إِذَا كَانَ مَرْهُونًا وَعَلَى الَّذِي يَرْكَبْ وَيَشْرَبْ النَّفَقَةِ. So the one that is drinking or the one that is riding will be the one to. So this is an exception from the basis. And this, according to a lot of scholars, extends to many other things. Somebody mortgages his house, for instance, now. Can you make use of the house? You, the mortgagee. Can you make use of the house? The basis is that you can't make use of the house. But if it's going to affect the house is not resided in, maybe it's going to lead, then in that case, you reside in it with what? Maintenance. So some scholars, they've deduced from this hadith of Al-Dhahru and hadith of Labanu Darri to extend to other things. Like maybe the car as well. If it's not going to, parking it is not going to affect it. So if it will affect it, then in that case you have to. So if it is the owner that is going to use it in such a way that will not affect the right of the mortgagee, or the mortgagee is going to use in such a way that will not affect the right of the mortgagor. All this is clear. So this is on mortgage. So we should know this. If somebody says he wants to, what's it called? He mortgages anything. So we should know that if he's unable to pay, the Sharia gives the mortgagee the right to sell the property if one is not forthcoming, in order to get his own money out of it. Then the balance will be given to him. The same thing is applicable to somebody who is indebted to a person, and maybe he sees an item, for instance. The item is seized from him. The authority, they will sell the item and watch. settle his creditors. They will settle his creditors out of it. So, but before that, it is good that respite is given to the person in order to be nice to him. Inshallah, we stop here. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. The question here is halal for the collateral, the higher in value than the item borrowed?
Yes, it is permissible that the collateral is higher than the item borrowed. So and that's why I said if eventually the collateral has to be sold, so the seller who is the mortgagee is going to take what is equivalent to his debt and return the remaining to the. So and if it's less than, if the collateral is less than the debt, so meaning the mortgagor is still going to balance the mortgagee what is left. Allah.
Inshallah, this will be, I like to see, we have